we'll open up the floor for more questions for Chris. Front row, middle, Bill Rabinowitz, Columbus Dispatch.
Hi, Mitch. First of all, what did it mean to you to get on a scholarship, and what do you think about your role in this team?
Yeah, it was an awesome feeling. You know, it was kind of a testament to all the people that kind of helped me get there. You know, it was really big for me and my parents, and they made so many sacrifices for me to get here, and they're here for every game. They've done so much for me. So, really special moment calling them after that, telling them that I got put on scholarship is awesome. So that was really the biggest thing for me.
In your role in the team?
Oh yeah, I'm excited. Every week it seems like it's growing a little bit, and just trying to prove myself. You know, it's good to be trusted and be thrown in there early in the game these days now. So it's exciting. You know, still trying to be good on special teams, all the units I play on there, and whatever fullback, tight end role I seem to fit in is awesome.
Right next door, Joey Kaufman, Columbus Dispatch.
Mitch, how did you learn you were on scholarship? Like sometimes you see like the coach give like a presentation to like the guy in front of the team. Like how did you kind of like learn?
I just had a meeting with Coach Day and Coach Wilson, and because I graduated last year in May, and I was done with school, so I needed to be on scholarship to be able to come back, or else I would have had to pay extra on top of the tuition for 4 years. So I had a meeting with them, and then called my parents and Coach Wilson after. And that was basically it.
No dramatic presentation.
No. There's a lot of other guys on the team who are very deserving. Cade Kaczerski, X Johnson, Booker, Sam Wiglis, Ryan Batch, all those guys are equally deserving. I was just in a little bit different situation from them. So, I'm just glad that I got the opportunity.
We'll go third row left, Dan Hope, 11 Warriors.
Mitch, first of all, do you want us to call you a fullback or a tight end?
You can call me whatever you want, man. It don't matter to me.
What do you feel like it is that you've been able to do over the course of your time here that's enabled you to get into this position to where you are playing as much as you want?
Yeah, I think consistency has been huge, just being there every day. I learned a lot watching Luke Farrell at tight end and Rock and Jake Houseman, and I think I've done a good job of just kind of observing, seeing what works, what's been successful, and then trying to apply it to my own game, and just staying consistent and working hard every day, basically.
And for you personally, when you made the decision to come here, I'm sure you could have gone somewhere else, probably been on scholarship from the beginning. What was it that made you decide to come here and be a part of this?
It's actually kind of a crazy story, but me and Max Ray came up and visited together, and this was a dream that I had my whole life. Both my parents are from Ohio, and I grew up a huge fan, and it's kind of just one of those things when you get an opportunity, you can't let it go, and you just chase it, and just kind of keep your head down, and now we're here.
We'll go second row right, Austin Ward, Letterman row.
Mitch, if it's cool if we call you a fullback, have you won that battle with the coaching staff? Like, if you go out there and like the play that you scored on, would you identify that as being fullback, or what would they call that?
I mean, we kind of really haven't had a fullback in our offense in a while, I guess, since Zach Bourne, really. So I think it's just cool that they even have the set in there. I guess it's kind of a testament to a lot of hard work I've done. But either way, I like fullback. I think that's better for me. But
Why is there a resistance to it? I mean, that's clearly what it was.
I mean, it probably stresses y'all and Jerry out. It bothers me, honestly. I don't really care. But whatever you want to put on there on the roster, Jerry, is good with me.
Just part of the no depth chart, that just troubles me to think fullback and tight end and receivers. Fourth row middle, Pat Murphy, 24/7.
Mitch, the touchdown on Saturday, obviously a big deal, still part of the game when things are kind of in question. What did that mean to you? What do you think it meant to the team? And going forward, knowing that that's in the arsenal now for Ohio State's offense, how can that help make other teams prepare for something they haven't really seen from them?
Yeah, it's something that we prepared for. We had that set in, and I was just glad, that Coach Day trusted me enough to call the play in the game, and moving forward, just continuing to earn that trust and being able to be called on in an important part of the game is awesome. That's really what I strive to work for every day, be more in the mix, basically.
Any nerves when you're lining up there, knowing the ball could be coming your way?
Yeah, I mean, usually I'm kind of not in the spotlight really in a lot of the jobs that I do, but you know, it was exciting. You know, a lot of my teammates were really happy for me on the sideline and in the champions meeting, and so it was awesome to have the support of everybody. It felt great.
Deep left, Brendan Gulick, Buckeyes Now on Sports Illustrated.
Mitch, clearly the touchdown's kind of a defining moment for you during your time here. Are there other moments that stand out to you when you reflect on your time as an Ohio State player that maybe we haven't had a chance to see?
Yeah, that's a good question. You know, I got moved over from running back to tight end. I guess that was kind of a big moment for me. I think you know, it just was better for my skill set, and then eventually I think just getting put on a special teams, eventually traveling, getting in at the end of games, and then just kind of progressively working my way up, just kind of through those benchmarks is basically how it's been going.
And you kind of answered Dan's question about why Ohio State, but had your expectations and your hopes been met, been exceeded? Like
Yeah.
where are you versus what you thought this would be like?
Yeah, way exceeded, I would say. You know, I was just happy to get the opportunity to come here. You know, I could have chosen a lot of other paths, maybe a lot of easier routes, played sooner, or just been a normal college student. I was thinking about that too. But you know, I just wanted to do something that I would be proud of, that would make me a better person as a whole. You know, make my parents proud, and that's kind of how I've been rolling since then.
Fourth row middle, Colin Gay, Rivals.
Mitch, in high school or in your time playing running back here, I mean, did you ever run with a fullback? I mean, did that come new to you, or?
You know, I played a lot of different positions in high school. I did do like I played running back and kind of tight end both in high school. I'd never run behind a fullback, I don't think, but I've run the ball a lot in my life.
Yeah.
So I think kind of the spatial awareness, finding a hole and trying to lead the running back in it is something that kind of came pretty natural just because of that. Because I had the ball in my hands a lot in my life, so that kind of came natural to me.
You mentioned, Luke, and just guys that have played kind of that hybrid position before. I'm curious about what schematically did you learn from them to kind of master kind of that? I mean, because obviously tight ends at Ohio State have been very, very key on blocking too. So I'm curious about how is there a different style? Is there a different, I don't know, like what's different between blocking as a tight end?
You know, I think for our position group, we try to bring the same attitude to every single block, you know, and we like to play very aggressive. I think that fullback blocks are definitely more aggressive, more downhill. You don't really have a lot of scheme to kind of like hide behind, basically. It's kind of just isolation blocks. From Luke and those guys, he was just so detailed. He had really, really good feet, really good hand placement. He played in football position all the time, you know, so it's just seeing how his habits had led to him being really successful at blocking, and I think the jobs that we asked him to do, you know, that helped me give an example and just try to ask questions, pick his brain and stuff like that, and has really helped me.
Second row right, Tim May, Letterman Row.
Yeah, I think I asked you some preseason, Mitch, but why do you think they're so reluctant to call something that, you know, walks like a fullback and talks like a fullback here to keep up the spread offense look? I mean, what do you think the reluctance is there?
That question might be a little bit above my pay grade, honestly.
I'm not trying to get you in trouble, but you've done a lot of fullbackish stuff even in the past, you know?
Yeah, you know, I think it's more like so we do a lot of two tight ends, and the second guy's the H. So I guess it's just kind of more of an H job than the Y, basically, is really what it is.
And when you guys jumped in that on Saturday, the eye I'm talking about, obviously they jumped off sides.
Mm-hmm.
But did you hear a lot of talk on the other side of the line, like what's going on here? I mean, because they would not have seen that probably on much video.
Mm-hmm. No,
did you pay attention to any of that?
Not too much. You know, I think that it was a situation where we were like within a yard, so I think they're playing the same defense regardless, trying basically protecting for an inside run. So, you know, I don't think that they're probably a little surprised. I'm sure, you know, they hadn't been practicing for that, but I mean, they probably in the same defense, just trying to stop the run basically, and we caught them.
And then you went to flat. And the last thing, do you guys try to add something every week? Have you noticed offensively, just a little new wrinkle and stuff? It seems like almost every week we see something a little bit new about you, Jeff.
I mean, yeah, if you walk by Coach Day's office at any time, it could be Friday afternoon, and he's still watching film looking for something every single day. So, you know, I mean, he just wants to put us in the best position. Every defense is different. They play every scheme different. So, you know, he's just trying to put us in the best position possible to succeed. So, yeah, every week he's always, you know, constantly changing and trying to make the best play possible for us.
Second row left, Nathan Baird, Cleveland.com.
Mitch, you saw CJ going back to the spring and through the offseason, through the preseason, saw him the first few games, and then saw him again Saturday. Was Saturday did you guys see something different from him on Saturday? Did he look and feel different out there?
You know, I think just, you know, as a team, we've just been trying to have a new attitude, like coming back from the Oregon game, you know, as a whole, just, you know, trying to bounce back, have a fresh attitude. You know, I wouldn't say I saw anything specifically from CJ. You know, I trust in him. He's our leader. He's our quarterback. He's a great player. You know, and you know, we don't falter behind him. And every week, you know, we think the best guys in the position to play. So.
You mentioned before the champions list. How much do you feel like the whole roster buys into that? And is it especially crucial for guys who are maybe more like role players to keep them engaged, keep them, I guess, active in their role on the team?
You know, it's just, you know, the eye in the sky never lies, basically. So it's just going back and looking at the film and, you know, did you play in a way that's going to help the team win? That's what grading out a champion is, you know. It's different for every position group, you know, so sometimes it's like the criteria, I guess, could be confusing, I'm not sure, but, you know, it's a big thing for people who may not get the touchdowns, but, you know, they help make the play happen in a different way, you know. Obviously, people who don't get a lot of credit, you know, maybe me before, had never scored before, didn't really get the ball a lot, but I was playing well in my role, you know. It's recognition for stuff like that, I guess.
Far left, Justin is engaged, WCMH.
Kind of going off that question, how important can special teams be, from your experience, in making your name known and being a catalyst for not just being on special teams, but making an argument to be more than that?
Yeah, it's super important. I mean, even the guys who come in here are super highly touted recruits. You know, the rule is that you have to play on special teams before you play on offense and defense. It's kind of always been that way. But for guys like me, it's just it's a really good way to get recognized, you know, for different types of skill sets, you know, and it's been really huge, like getting onto the travel squad, because, you know, they ask when they're making that list, that, you know, does this guy provide value? Can we find someone else to do this job? So, you know, if you're someone that they trust and you're not replaceable on those units, then you're going to get on the bus, and eventually your role is going to continue to grow more and more.
You mentioned being able to play at different schools. What was it that kept you here as opposed to going to the transfer portal, where that's more common now, especially with that 4-game rule?
You know, I hadn't really thought about it. I was just trying to be a good student and contribute to the team. I hadn't even really thought about that. You know, I had my friends here. I got a lot of family in Ohio, and I just stuck with it. You know, I didn't falter.
Third row left, Bill Landis, The Athletic.
Mitch, you mentioned you were a pretty good running back in high school. I know you played rugby. Is there a fullback run call in the playbook? And if there's not, should there be?
You guys just have to keep looking out for that one, I guess.
Do you, the position you're using sometimes we're talking about a lot, and, you know, playing rugby, I think, requires a certain amount of craziness to want to subject yourself to that kind of physicality. Why are you into it? Why do you like it?
You know, yeah, I enjoy watching a lot of those guys, like Devlin's, and even going back to like Mike Allstar, Lorenzo Neal, like those guys playing fullback. You know, I think that the physicality is necessary, and then if you like it, it's just probably makes you that much better at fullback, honestly. So, you know, I think it's just, you don't ever want to be hesitant. You don't want to play slow, and that's the attitude I bring to the game, basically.
Got time for just a couple more. Far left, Mark Snyder, Press Pros.
Mitch, when you got here, did you look at any other non-scholarship player that you kind of didn't necessarily pick his brain, but got guidance and go, hey, this is possible, I can see the field?
Absolutely. I mean, that was huge. So when I first got here, Zach Turnier had just gotten put on scholarship, and he sat up here in the front row and was a huge part of special teams. and even a little bit play some of that fullback role that I'm trying to now fill. CJ Saunders was a guy who was super huge, you know, basically just kind of giving me guidance, giving me advice, you know, kind of showing me a path. And you know, it's huge when it's tough, you know, coming in as a walk-on and as a freshman in general. You know, you need your brothers to lean on, and I had a bunch of guys like that who were really good to help me see a path through.
Over here at the far right, play hall, WSYX.
You talk about making your parents proud. Were they at the game?
Yeah, they were in Rutgers. Yeah.
Was there I mean, sometimes, I'm old, I got 3 kids, sometimes their achievements will make you emotional. Was that?
Yeah, I don't know if my dad, I gave him a big hug after the game, and he had a couple tears in his eye, and you know, my mom was pretty emotional too. But yeah, that was a really special moment. You know, seeing them after the game. It was an accumulation of a lot of stuff, and you know, they've seen everything that I've been through more than anybody else, and you know, they know all the texts at night. I'm like, man, this is so hard. You know, I got to go back in the morning, and so you know, that's my biggest support system. That's, you know, who I do it for. So yeah, it was a really special moment to see that.
And got just two more questions. Third row right, Tony Girdman, Buckeye Scoop.
Did you see that pride from your parents? How much fun have you given them throughout these years doing
Yeah, definitely. You know, and that's like I said, they're both from Ohio, so they get to come back and see relatives and visit, and you know, bring their old friends to games and stuff like that. So yeah, it's awesome for them, and you know, I hope I can give them back what they've given to me over the years.
And then we've seen these hybrid offensive positions at Ohio State be named after the players, like the Curtis Samuel position. Should the tight end / fullback just be the Mitch Rossi?
No, man, I don't need that. You know, any one of us could do the job. I think that just the way that it worked out was that I got the opportunity. I believe in anybody in the unit to do it, so it's not a Mitch Rossi position, but I'm glad to have it for now.
And final questions, far right, Spencer Holbrook, Letterman Row.
When you play special teams like you were, was there a moment where you're blocking people on special teams and you realize, like, I think I can do this on offense?
Yeah, you know, a lot of the same techniques, you know, a lot of the same emphasis on realizing things that work and maybe being able to apply it to a different thing. Like, especially like, I played on kickoff return for a long time, and that's really good for kind of like perimeter blocking, pass pro when you're kind of on an island. But yeah, definitely kind of realizing that I could potentially have a role after, you know, winning competitive reps and stuff like that. It for sure happened like through my freshman, sophomore year, definitely.
Urban Meyer and Ryan Dable said the scholarship guys kind of cut their teeth on special teams when they get here as freshmen. Like, how important is it for the offense to be able to make some stuff on special teams?
Yeah, you know, like I said, you know, Justin Hilliard was a huge recruit, and he played on every single unit on special teams. You know, it's not easy to break through and get on those depth charts. But yeah, it's big for me. I get really excited when I see guys like Cade Kaczerski and Chris Booker and X Johnson, those guys making plays on special teams. You know, it's awesome. It's good for the brand. It's good for everybody. So yeah, it's great to see.
Great. Mitch, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Mitch, where are your parents from?